Welcome to the red half of Sheffield curtain raiser. God, I can't believe it's already time to go again. 46 league matches. I'll be here to preview probably a good majority of them all. We're going to kick off this season, kinda in quotations, with the team that we ended it with, or near ended it with, and that being Saturday night, a 5:30, the late kickoff on Saturday against a familiar team. I feel like we preview Bristol City 4 times last year. Anyway, that's a long-winded intro as I'm trying to get back into the groove of these things. Bristol City, Saturday night, Bramall Lane. Here we go to preview it again. A familiar face. Everybody should be. We remember David from last year from the Forever Bristol City podcast. David, how has your summer been? Are you ready for football? I am clearly not because I am unprepared. So how are you?
I'm ready for summer. I haven't been away yet because we've been bedding in our lab, who's now 5 months old, Labrador, who I think last time we spoke, we'd just got him. So enjoying some decent weather. I, like you, didn't watch any of the Club World Cup, didn't watch any of that. And I didn't watch too much of the Euros either. So football is upon us, as you say. It's we've had a decent pre-season. The 2 meaningful games were last week against Plymouth, which we won 2-0, and yesterday against Real Valladolid, which we won 4-0. But I have to say they played like a bunch of Spanish lads out for a weekend in Bristol. So I don't think you can judge anything from pre-season form, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the weird thing about it. A few years ago, I'd get excited for when the preseason fixtures come out. Oh, yeah, we play this team, we play this team. Sheffield United doesn't play anybody fancy. Chesterfield, York, Burton. I mean, we played Fulham yesterday in one. But I haven't, as I said on our podcast this week, it was more of a preseason or a summer catch-up. I haven't watched a minute of football. I was infatuated with the Euros, as everyone knows. But club football, I was turned off by the fact that the Club World Cup was this year. And it almost seemed to make the season. Now, granted, our season, the championship, had ended the end of May. So we have the full month of June, the full month of July, and here we are in the doorstep of August to start the league campaign. With the Club World Cup, it just kind of killed the vibe, and it felt like there was no summer because there was constantly football on, especially being played over here in the States. It was almost 24/7. It felt like there was football on. It's like, we need a break, man. Just give us a break. And that's what I said at the end of the season. As soon as we were done the season, we lost the playoff final, we were done, I turned it off. You sound like you were in the similar vein. So turning to the Robins, the one big departure, the manager, Liam Manning, going to Norwich. Your thoughts on him leaving Bristol City?
Okay, my thoughts on him leaving. Liam Manning's a very ambitious manager. I think he was tapped up for the Norwich job before the season had ended, after they got rid of their manager. He, on a purely personal level, I did not shed a tear when he left at all. We finished 6th, but it was an anomalous season in the sense that 68 points, because the top 4 were taking so many points off other clubs. 68 points normally gets you 8th to 10th position in the league. Yeah. He did not give any minutes to any academy players. He ran some players into the ground. We are a football club that is run fairly frugally when it comes to being in the transfer market, because for some reason, even though we get 20,000+ gates, we seem to lose £20 million a year before any player trading. And I think when Norwich came calling, it was a chance for him to go back home, which, as we say, had that horrible personal tragedy last year. So you can get that. But Norwich have got new owners. They're ambitious. One would argue they're more ambitious than us. But I've always viewed Norwich as a side that play attractive football. In the 50-odd years I've been going to football, a bit like people would look at Chelsea, a bit like Tottenham. They play a certain style. And I have to say, okay, if he gets success, great. But I don't see Norwich fans warming to Manning-style football, which is very possession-based. And we called it budget Pep-style football, where you have to have quality players to play it. And it to really, really work. So he's gone. And I have to say, the fan base are united behind the new guy, Gerhard Struber, in a way they never were behind Liam Manning, because there was a lot of dissatisfaction with the way Nigel Pearson was exited from the club. Nigel Pearson did a stabilisation job for Bristol City in his time there. Right, we weren't great, but he stabilised us without relegation. So Liam Manning was always on an uphill battle, and I say the record books will show 6th. First time we've been in the playoffs since 2008. So you have to commend him for that. But when he left, I wasn't thinking, "Oh my Lord, what are we going to do now?" He's left us. Funny enough, he's left us in a worse position than when he joined, which you might find bizarre. But we've got players we've got 6 first-teamers that are out of contract next summer. Now, you can't blame that on him, but everybody's been a little bit, it's just behind the scenes at the club. It's not been run particularly well. So we finished the season poorly. We only got 5 points in the last 5 league games, and then you gave us a good hiding over the 2. So we finished flat on a number of reasons, and the manager going didn't depress people further. In fact, it was a chance to wipe the slate clean.
Yeah, well, that's at least you're more optimistic than I thought you were going to be coming into this. I thought, Liam Manning leaving off the back of how the season finished. I mean, not exactly. I mean, better than the expectations were for last year. And then, you would feel like you had some momentum going into this season, then he leaves, and then they do bring in Gerhard Struber, most famously at Barnsley, that had that team rocking a few years back in the championship. What, as a whole, okay, I'm going to sum this one up here. Final day, final whistle. What's your optimistic thoughts on where you finish?
You mean this coming season, yeah? Yeah, the coming season. I mean, look, the thing is, he could have a 8, if we'd be precise, 8% improvement in points and finish on 73 points and finish lower in the league. Yeah, because, so what is success? Well, success is the playoffs, but getting the points, we could get more points and, as I say, not qualify for the playoffs. I think success for Bristol City this season, because it's a very competitive league, is between where we always finish, between 8th and 11th. Anything above 8th is a bonus. Once you start getting into the teens, it's a bit of a failure. I think we've done some astute transfer business. We let Naki Wells go, but he was, despite being top scorer, he was 35 in June. I mean, he played for Luton on Friday night. But we've been out and we've bought Plymouth's best player in Alan Randall. We've bought Jacob Rees from Preston, who's the big man that we needed up front, not in the Kiefer Moore style. And then with our we've got quite a few players injured at the moment, but with our regular goalkeeper out until Christmas, even though we signed Joe Lumley, who's got championship experience, this week we signed on loan with a clawback in Jan if we want to, but we signed Rajak Vitek from Man United, and he is one big keeper, and he endeared himself to the fans yesterday because he saved a penalty. Yeah, but he's 6'6". I mean, he's a big unit. So are we optimistic? As I say, 8th to 11th in Struber's first season in charge would be good. But but then Struber doesn't hang around anywhere too long.
That's true.
So that's a test for him, isn't it? Is he going to take us? Is he going to take us forward? And we just did a podcast today, actually, just looking back on Saturday's game and looking forward. And when you've got key players out of contract in the summer, are they going to be playing to earn a contract at Bristol City? Are they going to go over and above to earn a contract somewhere else? So, is it transition? Are we in a season of transition? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting prospect that you bring up, and that's what I was going to touch on too. Is the Struber effect, to where he only stays for, it seems like, a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and then he's gone. Would you be surprised? Okay, I'm going to put you in this fictional world. Would you be surprised if Bristol City come out the gates by October? They're 5th, they're 6th. Won probably in the first 10 matches. They won 7, drawn
one, lost
1 or 2, and then like drawn 1 or 2 and lost 1. And then there's a team that he sees himself better fit, that starts sniffing around. Maybe a sack the manager. Maybe, let's just say, for this sake of the matter, QPR sacked their manager, which there's a lot of people saying QPR could be a dark horse this season. QPR sacked their manager. Do you think there'd be something come November time where Struber's like, "See, I'm out of here. I can better myself," or do you think he's here? For a season.
I think he's here for at least. I think he's here for a season. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I've met the man in person, and he seemed pretty genuine, pretty committed. He's putting himself out in the community. There was a food fair in Bristol the other weekend, and he was helping out on a coffee stand. I don't know how he got connected with that. He's put a coaching team around him. He's got Fleming, the ex-Norwich City, Gary Fleming, the ex-Norwich City player, another guy that he's brought across who's worked with him before. So, Bristol City is a project for any manager. Can they awaken, I won't say the sleeping giant, but can they lift this club to not where it deserves to be, but can somebody take this club for one season or more at the top flight? And that's a challenge for him. Yeah. That is a challenge.
Very true. So to Saturday night, because I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go, and no one presumably does. The first match of the season, everybody's like, "Oh, this team's going to win, this team's going to win," and it usually goes the reverse. How do you think Saturday night goes?
I think Saturday you'll be favourites to win, just because of the way you smashed us in the last 2 games last season. I think if we came away with a 2-1 defeat, I wouldn't be disappointed. I'd be disappointed, but I would view that as acceptable. Yeah. So the long and the short of it is, I think you'll win. I hope Struber ball is very, very, very different to Manning ball. We saw it yesterday. It's get things forward, get quick. We leave gaps at the back. We've played the team that is likely to start next Saturday in the last 2 friendlies. Yeah. And I think it's a little bit weak on the left-hand side unless he plays McCrory over there and Sykes. So we've got some key injuries. If we came away with a point from Bramall Lane, that would be absolutely amazing. What I don't want is a thrashing, because I think a 3-0 or above thrashing would set a tone for the run of games before the first international break. So, players will lose faith in this change of method, because it's a very different method to Manning, and dare I say it, to Pearson as well, because it's this get forward, get forward, get forward. And chaos is the word that was used more than once on our podcast and has been used in the media. And maybe just yet the players don't know what they're doing 100%. So no, I'm expecting a defeat. A narrow defeat would be great. I don't want a thrashing. And if we came away with anything like a point, I'm not even going to suggest a win, then that would be tremendous, because we follow that up. We got MK Dons in the cup at home. If we get a good result at Sheffield, he'll probably rotate for that game. And then our opening home game of the season is against Charlton Athletic, that you'd have to say you want to be winning that one.
Yeah.
So, that's my view.
Well, there you have it. Match day number 1 is upon us, less than 6 days from time of recording. So I think we're going to wrap this one up and get out of here. David, let the people know where they can find the podcast per usual.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Forever Bristol City podcast is recorded live on YouTube for every game, and then it's available on Spotify and other podcast platforms, part of the TalkSport fan network.
Definitely give it a check and a listen for sure. If you haven't done so by now, you guys know all the social medias. Red Half Sheffield, anywhere you can find your podcast on YouTube, whatever. If you want to check out my videos from last year, I'm a little bit sketchy to start this one, a little bit shaky because I've been out of the saddle for a while. Been quite a while, but it's good to be back. So I will leave you until Birmingham preview for the Carabao Cup, and I will leave you with Up the Blades.